AskReddit. What is one fact you know that will make other people respond with, and why the FK do you know that? MLB umpires are required to wear black underwear in case their pants split during a game. If you're trying to destroy a body, a strong base will be much more successful than a strong acid. Acids are difficult to legally acquire due to them being ingredients in explosives. Caustic soda is much more useful and accessible, as it's an ingredient in soaps. Once it's done, you'll have a liquid that you can then place in barrels and bury somewhere. Even the bones will be broken down to an extremely brittle calcium deposit, which you can easily crush and filter off. You can then dispose of the liquid as you'll wish. It makes great fertilizer. Alternatively, use pigs. They eat anything and will leave no traces. And once again, pig shit is great fertilizer. Edit. Christ, what a way to reach 100k karma. After Alois Alzheimer gave the first ever speech describing the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, no one in the audience asked him any questions or made any follow-up comments, because they were all much more excited to hear the next guy on the list give a speech about compulsive masturbation. Since frogs have long tongues, they can't use it to push food down their throat like humans do, so when they have food in their mouths they close their eyes and push the food down their throats with their eyeballs. Open the guts of a body before disposing in water so they won't inflate and are able to sink all the way to the bottom. Mammals from house cats to elephants take about the same time to urinate. Siblings, or parents and children, that were separated from one another at birth or a very young age are often extremely sexually attracted to one another if they meet later in life. The phenomenon is called genetic attraction. Didn't think it was weird to know this until I shared with my boyfriend and he was totally weirded out. Thanks, SVU. Some URL. Erections that last more than 4 hours are considered bad because the buildup of deoxygenated blood causes the dick to be disfigured and later cause gangrene. It takes more than 6 standard concrete blocks to hold a human body underwater after death. Regarding the Museum of Mummies. Ferdinand I of Naples governed by oppression. He had zero compassion for his defeated enemies, and after falsely promising them amnesty, he had them murdered instead. After their murders, he would have them mummified and added to his museum of mummies dressed in their clothes. If he thought anyone was plotting against him, he'd simply take them on a casual tour of the museum, which was totally morbid, but effective. Male bedbugs try to sexually penetrate everything they come into contact with, even people. Edit. Wow, my first silver. Thank you. Bedbug awareness is incredibly important. Make sure you guys check yourselves. They are very sneaky. Edit 2, a gold award too. Holy moly. If you want to skin a human alive you have to do it in a warm room, otherwise he will die of the cold because his skin doesn't isolate him anymore. The largest walnut grove in the world is located outside the small village of Aslanbab, in mountainous southern Kyrgyzstan. Local oral legend has it the grove was planted by a migrant wise man nicknamed Arslan the Wanderer. DNA analysis of the trees has confirmed they are not native to the region, and the local population came to the area from a related batch of seeds about 1,000 years ago. The most babies born to one woman is 69 in the 1700s. Sometimes, when horses are bored, they slap their dick to their underside to masturbate. Many species of sea cucumbers have evolved to have teeth in their anus to ward off potential inhabitants. Most cruise ships are equipped with a morgue to account for any passengers who died during the voyage. Vibrators were the 5th domestic electrical device invented. Edit. Saw it in a documentary called Original Sin Sex on Hotstar. If you want to check it out, male giraffes will headbutt a female in the bladder until she urinates, then it tastes the pee to help it determine whether or not the female is ovulating. This is something my bio teacher taught me last year. Basically, male barnacles have the longest penis-to-body ratio, and the penis actually extends out of the barnacle and goes searching around for female barnacles to have sex with. Only about 1.4% of the uranium in the atom bomb dropped in Hiroshima actually fissioned, meaning that bomb was only about 2% as strong as it could have been. Why is goose geese but moose is not meese? Well, I'm glad you asked. Goose has Germanic origins and thus follows the Germanic pluralization in the same manner as foot to feet, tooth to teeth, etc. However, the word moose was incorporated into the English language some 200 years later and has Native American origins. Yay! Instead of a penis, male sharks have 2 claspers. They're made of the same cartilage as their skeleton, and also attached to their pelvis. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I can't believe my highest rated comment is about shark dicks. The human body can literally expel feces out of your mouth instead of your ass. Babies don't have kneecaps. Edit. This is for people whining in the comments that I'm wrong. Some URL. Most of the dolphin population is the result of rape. When the Pilgrims first landed in America, they found these weird dirt mounds in a field. So they dug them up and discovered they were Native American graves. Oops. They returned everything, but then came back later to take the cooking pots and utensils that had been buried with the corpses. They apparently packed really light on the way over and didn't bring basic household essentials. Which would be really useful in, oh I don't know, starting a fucking colony. Ireland's rail gauge is slightly wider than the international standard, yet its tram system uses the international standard. Most birds don't have intermittent reproductive organs, like a penis or vagina, and they share their genes through a hole, called a cloaca, that leads to their inner organs. The act is called a cloacal kiss and is over super fast. Most duck species, however, do have intermittent organs. The penis is shaped like a corkscrew and can be 50% or more of the length of the duck in some species. This is because the vagina is an elaborate maze of twists and turns, creating an evolutionary arms race between the sexes. The longest duck dick award goes to the Argentine lake duck. Though he is a mere 15 inches long, his dangling corkscrew is up to 16 inches erect. Now that's gotta produce some drag. Edit, should be intromittent. Thanks/u/m_Faustus for pointing that out. Edit 2. People seem to struggle with the why females resist mating. Much like humans, female ducks like to choose the best male to reproduce with. They will make themselves available to the males they prefer, and this mechanism allows them to resist advances from the males they don't deem worthy. The Nazis bled Soviet children dry to provide blood transfusions for injured troops. Human shit has a distinct smell that's different from other commonly encountered poops. Don't buy rabbit already skinned and gutted. Could well be cat. They look really similar if it's already skinned. You need to see the kidneys to tell, they're installed in a different config. Second, don't make risky meat purchases from a Sunday market trailer in a shady part of town. The slitting of the front of the throat is much more improbable than most people realize, given a bone is actually blocking the spot that most see in movies/TV shows. If, in fact, a movie wanted to be more realistic, they would instead have the sides of the throat slit because of the main artery that sits in that spot. Male moths can vibrate their testicles at will to throw off bats. Edit. Oh wow, my first gold, thanks guys. Did not expect this comment to get me one, but here I am. Australian box jellyfish have 64 anuses. The longest recorded piece of poop is 26 feet long. A typical ejaculation consists of 1 calorie. Edit. If you swallow the semen, it will give you 1 calorie. You do not burn 1 calorie. Rubbing alcohol is a great way to get the smell of smeared poop out of skin. Butterflies taste with their hind feet. About 1 girl out of 100,000 will have the vaginal and anal tracts fused together, meaning that they can in fact get pregnant doing anal. Jeffrey Dahmer tried to make sex zombies out of some of his victims by drilling holes in their heads while they were still alive and pouring acid into the holes. You can hang yourself in 3 ways. Rope really short, suffocation, medium length rope, breakneck, really long rope, decapitation. Yep. Before kale became a popular health food, the largest consumer of kale was Pizza Hut. They bought it to ring the salad bar. If you are stranded on a desert island, with only the bodies of other people as a source of food, you will want to only eat the legs, arms, and butt, as they are the most easily prepared parts of the human body. All other parts are either too close to vital, bacteria-infested, organs, or are just unsafe to eat in general, for example the brain. The legs, arms and butt can be easily cooked over a small fire to make it safe to eat, even though the actual caloric intake of human flesh is nutritionally less viable than most other animals. Edit. People keep asking why eating the brain, and other parts, might be terrible. Here's a link to a video about it. Some URL. Edit 2. Oh, my first silver, yay. It takes 2 to 3 days to cremate a body on a standard bonfire. Edit. So I've never had a comment get such an insane number of upvotes and replies before, not even close. Wow. A lot of people are asking how I know this, so I figured I'd explain. I studied for a rather specific master's degree around psychological trauma. It was particularly pertinent to the Army, So within our small class were a few officers from the army being sent to touch up their learning. One of them was an army doctor who had been with them for more than 30 years. Can't remember exactly how the conversation got to this point, but he made some quip about having to burn a body, and it taking 2 or 3 days to burn on a bonfire. We asked him why he was burning a body, and his only response was we weren't allowed to bury it. We never could convince him to elaborate further. It turned out that one of his deployments was to Rwanda as part of Operation Gabriel immediately after the genocide. If I had to guess, it might have been something to do with that. When dealing with more than 1 million dead bodies, many were likely never identified or claimed by next of kin, and perhaps for some reason this one couldn't be buried with the others. Again, this is purely speculation, so take it with a pinch of salt. Male echidnas have a 4-headed penis. Pigs with a prolapsed anus are at risk of being eaten by other pigs. A corpse can have an erection, it is called angel lust or death erection. Broccoli and cauliflower are man-made. It was carefully bred by Italian farmers more than 2,000 years ago, carefully breeding different types of wild cabbage to create it. The stripper pole spins frown. In 2006 a Coca-Cola employers tried to sell secrets to Pepsi. Pepsi told Coca-Cola about it. The world's youngest mom was 5. Edit. She was impregnated at 4. Costco has spent hundreds of millions developing factories just so they can continue to offer their hot dog and soda combo for $1.50 and their rotisserie chicken for $4.99. When all humans are made, they start with the asshole. It requires roughly 8 pounds of force to remove a human ear. Just like, rip, when men pee, the urine twists when it comes out due to the exit hole being a slit instead of a round hole . Edit. Wow, this got a lot more attention than I thought I would. There are more factors that go into this than just the slit tip. The urethra itself creates an uneven flow, and while not specifically rifled like a gun barrel, its shape does help to achieve the effect. Those tiny fake flowers and little glass vases at the gas station are less about the flowers and more about the glass, which can be used as a crack pipe. Nutella uses 25% of the world's hazelnut supply. Padlocks in Europe often have tighter keyways than American ones and required thinner pieces of metal to pick. Cats are more nutritious than dogs. A beaver's ass tastes like raspberries, and smells like rum due to high levels of ethyl formate, which gives raspberries its taste and rum its smell. Edit. People wouldn't stop complaining about my phone correcting its to its. Happy now? Shut up. Edit 2. Thank you, beautiful human who gave me silver, you have taken my award virginity away. Edit 3. People have asked how I learnt this. I licked a beaver's ass, duh. Nah, jokes aside, TL, Doctor, a game show. I used to watch a program on TV called Duck Quacks Don't Echo, which is this sort of scientific fact celebrity game show thing where they bring their weird fact and then an experiment is done to prove it. There is also a round where the audience brings one and the celebrity contestants choose it. This was one of the facts that got chosen, and yeah, I searched up the scientific stuff and boom. It takes about 5 to 6 hours in a boiling lye bath to fully dissolve a body. Less if the pot you're using has a pressure cooker attachment. All you'll be left with is bone shadows, little undissolved bits of calcium that can be crushed, and a pinkish-gray slurry that can be neutralized with vinegar so it can be safely dumped. Edit. I learned about this from disposing of deer carcasses. After harvesting the usable meat, we take the offal and bones, pop the joints and chuck them in the pot. Let it go outside for a few hours, then discreetly dispose of the slurry. Gray whale couples need a third whale to act as a brace while they mate so they don't float apart midway through. Wombats naturally crap out cube-shaped poop. Scientists think it's so they can stack it to mark their territory without it rolling away. Flatworms are dual-gendered and mate by fencing with their penises. The winner is the one that penetrates the other's skin first. Some species have 2 penises. Anybody who has ever had to write a paper knows what 12-point font is. This point system relates to measurements for fonts, type, and certain design elements. 12 points go into 1 pica, and 6 pica go into 1 inch. While sizes vary from font to font even within the relative standardization of font sizes, if you need font that is about 1 inch tall, you want 72-point font, because 6 pica times 12 points is 72. For 2-inch font, 144, for 3-inch font 216, and so on. Edit. Pica. Not pix as my comment said originally, pica. Stupid autocorrect. A human head is still alive for about 10 seconds after decapitation. Male ducks rape female ducks so much that females have evolved different shaped vaginas to make it more difficult for males to fertilize them. Story from my anatomy and physiology teacher in community college. She had this young 20-something girl who never said a single thing until they spoke about the hyoid bone. This girl never says anything else for the whole quarter, but when the teacher brings up that bone she pipes in with the hyoid bone is broken in most strangulation attempts. With a total deadpan face and never says another word the rest of the quarter, silence the whole classroom. A bee's testicles explode when they mate. Edit. As many people are pointing this out. I will add that the explosion is loud enough it can be heard. Edit number 2, their dick is also blown off by the explosion and occasionally gets stuck in the queen. Courtesy of you/Gibbet the mediocre. Edit number 3, grammar cause Reddit ain't fucking around. The B-28 hydrogen bomb, aka Red Snow, contained 1.6 kilograms of plutonium, 11 kilograms of uranium, 16 kilograms of lithium deuteride and approximately 2.5 grams of tritium. Source: declassified British info. Some URL. The reason why Egyptian mummies are so rare nowadays is because the Europeans ate them. They believed that eating a mummy would have medicinal benefits and the spirit of the person they consumed would watch over and protect them. The first commercial jet exploded mid-air because the windows were squared. The stress on the cabin was too great, and when pressurizing, this caused the plane to explode. When Boeing and Lockheed came out with airplanes, they had round windows. These windows were also smaller. The first commercial jet BTW was called the de Havilland Comet and flew at 40,000 feet. The engines were tiny and looked really cool. Boeing's first commercial jet, the 707, later came out while the Comet was grounded. Then the L-1011 came out as the first wide-body and the Comet was forgotten and untrustworthy. If you press your finger up to a mirror and there's a space between your real finger and the reflection, it's a real mirror. If there's no space between your finger and the reflection, it's a two-way mirror. So you murdered someone and don't have the energy to dismember or clean blood stains? Bury the body 2 meters deep, then cover the hole a meter deep, kill a large dog, bury it on top of that grave and then cover the rest of the meter-deep hole. That way sniffer dogs or people won't find the body, just a dead dog. Bonus points if you kill the dog of the guy you had to kill. But then now you have 2 dead dogs and that might be a problem. Unless you dig a 3-meter hole and bury all the bodies at 1-meter intervals. And then kill a squirrel and place it on top of the grave to mark it. The entire human body, organs, bones and all is around 81,500 calories. Smile. Edit. I was wrong, it's 81,500 according to Google. I saw on an Instagram post a while ago it was 22,500, I was wrong. In Pennsylvania it is illegal to sleep on top of a refrigerator at night. Imitation vanilla used to comes from a gland in a beaver's castor glands or wood pulp. Wi-Fi access points are open source and documented on several websites across the internet, so if you ever use your phone to open an access point for someone you could later be tracked by your initial SSID as it is paired with your phone's MAC address. And that's just one way your cell phone is tracked. Former NFL player Rob Gronkowski is the great-grandson of Olympic cyclist Ignatius Gronkowski, who held several cycling world records in the 1920s. What I've learned here is that most of you research various murder methods, which isn't alarming in the least bit. The flavor you get in banana candy is actually based on a variety of banana you don't really come across anymore and is not some completely random artificial flavor candy companies just made up. Not really anything over the top like some of the other things here. But this fact has gotten people to look at me with utter astonishment a few times in life. Edit. Corrected phrasing based on replies. It's more painful having penis piercings put in, than having them ripped out during sex. Yes, that is experience. Shit has a very specific taste and can only be described as tasting like shit. 1 second is defined as exactly 9,192,631,770 oscillations in the radiation emitted by a cesium-133 isotope when transitioning between 2 hyperfine states at a temperature of 0 K. Edit. This was based on something from Wikipedia. I rechecked and apparently the temperature of 0 K part was dropped. Makes sense, now it says ground state. Rock hyraxes are not rodents, but are closely related to elephants. They appear very similar to marmots, a rodent, due to convergent evolution by filling a similar ecological niche. I rattled this off at work one day and someone really asked me exactly the title of this post. Wikipedia is the answer. One of the first school shooters back in the 70s was actually a girl. Only humans and armadillos can catch the awful disease leprosy. The awful spelling of the awful disease leprosy. Cockroaches can and will eat them. When a person commits suicide by shooting themselves in the head with a barrel pressed to their temple, the eyes are blown out of the eye sockets by the muzzle blast. If you're gonna be forced into cannibalism, make sure to cook everything except the liver. The liver has a bit of vitamin C and other trace things, many of which burn off in cooking. Also, avoid the brain like the plague, or in this case mad cow disease. If you ever want to beat someone up with a baseball bat, lead pipe etc., put a condom on it, so if your victim grabs it will slip, and if they manage to grab it really well you can just remove the condom to remove their grasp. Airspeed velocity of the European swallow, unladen, is approximately 24 miles per hour. Ohio is the only U.S. state that doesn't share a letter with the word mackerel. == 2.718281828459045. Which is more digits that you would ever need. And it's super easy to know by heart. 2.7. That's the hardest part. 1828. Easy repetition. 45 Again an easy repetition. When the Beatles broke up, George Harrison was just 27 years old. 6 out of 7 dwarfs are not happy. Men who die by hanging sometimes cum in the process. Both blood and semen can be used as an egg substitute in recipes. Poland is the reason Central and West Europe is not controlled by Turkey. Edit. After a discussion I must add Hungary's fortresses to the reasons. You know how fireflies use their lights to indicate they want to mate with each other? Well, the females sometimes bait the males into coming over using the mating pattern, just so they can eat them. If you have 2 ribs surgically removed, it's possible to suck your own dick. This post is cursed. Deleted. I know the URL of about 30 porn sites from the top of my mind. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Ducks have 9-inch penises that fall off at the end of the mating season. The average human can fit 2 raccoons in their asshole at the same time. This happened at my lunch table and one of the girls there draws Nico girls and guys, so one of the guys called her a furry and I said technically it's not furry, it has to be fully anthropomorphic for it to be furry, and as you can see this drawing has a human face. And my friend Baron asks me, why do you know that? And my response was, once you've seen enough porn of weird shit, you start making your own conclusions. But I don't watch furry porn, it just shows up when I'm looking at lots of other porn. Safe to say they looked at me like I was a fucking alien, but I didn't really care. I'm very shameless when it comes to the fact I watch porn. The Democratic Party is evil. There is porn of Kermit the Frog. If you have sex with someone, they have a heart attack, their heart stops, and you don't like. Remove yourself from them, or vice versa, while resuscitating. Once they come back you can still be prosecuted for necrophilia during the interim where their heart stopped. People die if they are killed. Honestly, most of the things I know. I have a weird ability to retain small facts which I pick up from around everywhere, in places. It leads to a lot of people saying I need to get out more. Your asshole can stretch up to 8 inches wide. You can make someone puke by giving them 3 cups of latte and 1 of water. How to make various weapons, among other things. 4th graders have 2-inch penises. Deleted. Removed. Dispose body and whole cover up with dirt and large dog on top. No will know. To sex snakes, you gotta pop their dicks out. The moment we leave the geophysical and magnetic influence of the Earth, we stop aging. Meaning as soon as we leave this solar system to go somewhere else, short of accident, our biological clock post-adult will stop. If you put an entire human body in the blender, the color of the final mixture will be about the same color as the red in the Washington Redskins logo. This requires an anecdote. So one day, I was sitting in front of a group of classmates who were talking about rap, and this one guy says, I actually really like late 90s rap, like Fuck the Police, because the lyrics have much more substance than the later stuff. And I, a very white, very effeminate looking guy, says without turning around, actually, Fuck the Police by the NWA came out in 1988, and that kind of political rap started about that time, in the late 80s. And my friend who was sitting next to me just turns and asks, okay, what the fuck? Drink and drive. I've only done it that one time and wasn't thinking straight. Thankfully no one got hurt except a tree in my left front panels. I had no left indicator and no left headlight after hit that tree. Dumbest thing I've ever done. Will never ever do it again, and I will never let anyone drink and drive. It was very luck that it was only that and not a moving, parked car or a pedestrian or a house. Deleted. If you want to have sex with a dog, make the dog wear socks on their front paws so their nails don't cut up your back while it's mounting you. Having women completely undress and then putting a hospital gown on before their abortion makes them calmer during the procedure than if they just take their pants and panties off and wear one of those paper skirts. Anything about hentai. If you can't figure something out, there is this website Google that you can search that has the answer to almost everything you can imagine. You would have thought everyone would know this, but it must be a secret. Putting pineapple on a pizza. Whenever an atomic bomb, nuclear fission or fusion, explodes, there is a small chance of consuming the entire planet's atmosphere because of the chain reaction used to activate the bomb. I can say and pronounce the name of the longest city in Wales, but I can't spell it. Male dolphins are the absolute worst animal alive. They will rape you. They won't even feel a little bit bad about it either. They will literally drill a hole into you if they can't find one. Don't even get me started on their horrifying penises. I know this because on my fiancé and I's first date I said I liked dolphins and he laid down the law 9 meters them instead. I know the sound a vagina makes when you cut it open with a pair of scissors. I spend every night watching 37 true horror stories that usually get posted here on Reddit, and every now and then one just sticks with me. I usually tell it to my family to see their creeped out reactions. It's super funny. If you break someone's nose by pushing it in and a little up, it can cause bone and cartilage shards to go into their brain and kill them. Penis tastes like penis but with more penis. Your significant other is cheating on you. Although your dick have no bone but it still can be break. Licking doorknobs is illegal on other planets. Napoleon's penis was only 1.5 inches long. The molecular mass of air is 29. Say and why the F/K. Do you know that? Please. Mummies are rare because we ate them. If you yanked your penis for most of your life, live in a cold climate for a long time, and develop whooping cough, your penis will fall off because human skin has a set limit of elasticity. Source: personal experience. A gallon of gas holds 63,380,000 calories. Bill Clinton is a rapist. A normal teen will masturbate about 69420 plus times every couple of years. Vaping. I was in a conversation with 3 people about vaping 10 years ago, how this is the new thing, better than cigarettes, and healthier to consume liquid nicotine/tobacco. Unfortunately, the argument got heated, especially so when I told them that warm water vapor, which was produced by the electric cigarette, would bypass the defensive mucous membranes of the body, enter the lungs, and destroy them quicker than normal cigarettes. They are both now in their early 30s, while I am over 50. They both now have breathing and lung problems, and in danger of losing their jobs because of their health. Both were my electrical apprentices, now are electricians, as am I. One stopped using tobacco altogether, the other is still stubborn but now smokes cigs regularly. The second guy is constantly huffing and puffing while I smoke him climbing stairs while carrying heavy loads. Fuck 'em. They were both warned. They both ignored good advice. Let them die as painfully as possible. There will always be other people willing to learn, that can replace them. That I can sing the entire Bohemian Rhapsody while listening to Country Roads by John Denver while playing a video game but at the same time reading a book and write on Reddit, to kill someone and leave no evidence behind, use an ice glacier, I think that's what it's called? It'll be sharp enough to stab and melt so it won't leave any fingerprints behind. I swear I'm not a murderer, I'm a writer. Female cheetahs have pseudopenises that split open when they give birth. Edit, it's hyenas not cheetahs. Deleted. The legal age of consent is 16 in many states, and 14 with parental consent in some. This is true in many blue/liberal states. I only know this because I meet many people that base their morals regarding age of consent on the law, which is fucked up, yet they don't even know the law. The wine glass was designed using Marie Antoinette tits and the champagne glass using Louis XVI. It's true. Blue whales have penises that is thickness of 30 centimeters and a length of 3 meters. I am 1.60 meters and am 13-year-old boy, so this information can help Americans to compare sizes of blue whale dick and me. In the early 2000s, Papa John and his buddy, together used to routinely invite a few 20-something young men in Louisville to PJ's house in Park City and fly them out on a private jet, then ply them with booze, coke, and then guilt about the first couple things and the expense of flying them out in order to coerce/hard sell them into performing various homosexual sex acts. The skin on your elbow is called your Venus, and if you pinch it as hard as you can it doesn't hurt. I know places to hit a person so that they will malfunction. Special nerve places. Also, the funny bone isn't a bone, it's a nerve. Deleted. My friend Bailey just asked me how HCl and NaO react with milk. I told her that hydrochloric acid would drop the milk's pH below its normal levels, which would affect the stability of casein molecules. The molecules go through a form of denaturation, turning into soft gel at lower HCl levels, then coagulating and separating from the watery portion. So basically, the casein main protein, in the milk, denatures, gets all gel-like and clumps up and separates from the watery part of the milk. Sorta like when milk goes bad and gets clumpy. And the NaO would react with the casein to create sodium caseinate. We're both 16, and I'm a high school dropout who's just getting back into school, picking up from grade 10 and missed credits because I never attended. Taurine used to be removed from bull testicles. There was a Greek senator who had a shallow pool. He would have slave boys, who had to be under the age of 3, crawl around in the pool and nibble at his feet, legs, and other parts. He called them his nibblers. My only explanation for knowing this is going too deep on the internet. All dimensions and measurements of the lines on a soccer field. This is a repost, deleted. You can't suicide by stopping your breath intentionally. However, if you try to forget to breath, then you can do it. Try it and you will believe me. I was able to guess the rough geographic location of where my supervisor lived based on one photograph she had shown me of her kids a month earlier. I said, the inside of your living room looks a lot like my parents and they live in ritzy Stepford Village. Horrified, she said, how do you know what my living room looks like? I guess my explanation didn't make her feel any better. Sometimes it sucks having a Sherlock Holmes-like memory for only some details. If you ask me where my glasses are, I couldn't tell you. Gin tastes exactly like pine sap. Any number of things. In almost all cases the answer would be Reddit. Fundamentalist Mormons are responsible for the Challenger explosion. Edit. Partially responsible. They manufactured the faulty O-rings, maybe with child labor, but NASA shouldn't have contracted them / should have caught it. There is a sequel to Two Girls One Cup. Take a woman's mouth and turn it 90 degrees, you'll have a replica of her vagina. Female mallard ducks have spiral vaginas that allow them to select which male impregnates them. Wombats have cube-shaped poops. You can fit 2 raccoons in your ass with minimal permanent damage. People think that Americans are the ones who lost the British accent over time after they got independence. But despite common belief, the British are the ones whose accent changed. The Americans' accent never changed. Since Britain was a monarchy, the British people in the hierarchy of power made themselves talk certain ways, mimicking the more powerful and influential people. Obviously to look better. The Americans didn't have a monarchy or hierarchy really. It was democratic with a president. Nobody really needed to act a certain way apart from the president himself. 1 in 5 of all teenage boys with severe autism will try to rape their mother or sister, if they have one.